Valley News Live at 9, I'm Bobby Fallett. Earlier this week, a petition was filed that could potentially place recreational cannabis on the November ballot in North Dakota. If enough signatures are obtained, this would be the third time North Dakotans will vote on legalizing adult use cannabis since 2018. Valley News Team's Zachary Wind spoke with petition leaders about what is different this time around and why they think voters should approve it.
Over the past decade, 24 states have legalized adult use cannabis. This year, one group is looking to add North Dakota to that list.
We simply want to have a system that has reasonable regulations and restrictions balanced with the right of those who choose to use marijuana to be able to do it in a safe environment and with safe substances.
Mark Fries is a sponsor of a petition looking to legalize cannabis for those 21 and older in the state of North Dakota. This is the third attempt to legalize recreational marijuana, with two past proposals failing. Those involved say this measure is taking a more conservative approach by limiting the amount individuals can possess and by restricting it in public places. This, according to Tanya Martinez.
It's not acceptable to walk downtown smoking a joint. It's not acceptable to do it in parks near children. And this bill encompasses that and prevents it from being a free-for-all.
Both Martinez and Fries say one major benefit of this measure will be its financial impact. Currently, North Dakotans are traveling to Minnesota and Montana to purchase legal cannabis, which Fries says is taking potential tax dollars away from the state. But beyond taxes, Fries says it will also save money by allowing better use of law enforcement resources.
We can divert attention in our limited law enforcement resources away from enforcing a substance that's relatively benign to much more serious violent crimes and more serious and impactful drugs.
With the stigma towards legal cannabis changing, and with a more conservative approach, both Fries and Martinez believe this proposal will be approved by voters in November.
I think this one's different. I think North Dakota's ready for this one. It's a responsible approach to it.
Reporting in Fargo, Zachary Wyand, Valley News Live.
Now, in order to appear on the November ballot, the petition needs 15,582 more signatures by July 8th.